Morning, James. Slow goods for us today. Oh, I suppose I'll have to use Old Grump for the run. How lovely. Who's Old Grump? Henry? No, he's one of the old brakevans the Fat Controller uses for slow goods and branch lines because of his age. Never stops moaning, the horrid old thing. Old Grump, as his nickname suggested, was an old brakevan who tended to moan bitterly, often just for the sake of it. Arranging your train properly requires little effort, number 5. Phew. I can see where the nickname came from, called Gordon. But it wasn't just James who had a problem with the bitter van. Other engines found his constant moaning unbearable too. Soon, Donald and Douglas took it upon themselves to confront him. I dinna know what your problem is, huffed Douglas. You just want to complain all the time. You can't say much, scoffed the brakevan. I'm the one that's been downgraded all because those workmen can't be bothered to maintain me properly. Dinna dismiss your workmen. It's your age that's the reason, so just be grateful and get on with it. I suppose it could be worse, interrupted the van. At least they're competent enough not to scrap rolling stock that can operate despite their subpar maintenance. The Fat Controller's that power too, you know, and you can find out if you keep this complaining going. And the same goes to you if you dinna be quiet. I don't approve of being threatened, number 10, snapped the van. I deserve some respect. Hey, we've been looking for respect from you for years, thundered Donald. Unfortunately for the twins, their drivers informed them of their next train, and they had to go, leaving Old Grump as grumpy as ever. And it only got worse. One afternoon, as Duck brought some trucks in from the Little Western, there was a loud "Oh!" cried the brakeman. Stop, I've got such a pain! Would you ever give it a rest? James muttered. Old Grump made such a fuss that an inspector arrived to see what the matter was. The brake handle's been jamming lately, said the guard. It'll need fixing, but nowt to go to it works for. Very well, said the inspector. James, could you please take this van to the sidings? Me? Spluttered James. I am not spending another minute with that old groaner. Believe me, number 5, the feeling is most certainly mutual. I swear, if I could get away with pushing you off the key, I'd do it. You mean you could do that intentionally? Oh, that's surprising. Pah! James snorted away, and workmen came to mend Old Grump's brake handle. He was in a foul mood over it, but thankfully for the men, he soon fell asleep. Early the next morning at 5 a.m., vans for the Flying Kipper were being arranged. Old Grump remained asleep through all the hustle and bustle of the vans being loaded with fish. Henry soon arrived, and a shunter came to couple him up. He was new to the job. I was surprised to notice something unusual. The brakeman isn't attached. Oh, that would have been a disaster, he remarked. Oblivious to the Flying Kipper not needing one, he walked up to Henry's cab. Excuse me, driver. Could you back up a few yards, please? One of the vans isn't coupled to the train. Oh, certainly, replied the driver, and Henry gently pushed the vans back. Too gently. All clear, Henry. Away we go. Henry had just left Tidmouth when... Oh! Number one, if you wake me up again, I'll... Oh, wait, where am I? God! It's rude not to wake me before our train sets off! Upon no response, he quickly realised there was nobody inside him. What's going on? He shouted. Whoever's pulling this train, stop immediately! But Henry was too far ahead and puffing too loudly to hear him. He thundered along the main line, unaware of his accidental stowaway. They soon arrived at Crosby to unload some of the fish. And as the porters began unloading the crates, one of them called out, "Driver, why is there a brakevan on the Kipper today?" The driver, fireman and Henry were confused. "Well, I'll be," exclaimed the driver, "if it isn't Old Grump." Henry was most surprised. Old Grump from Tidmouth? What on earth is he doing back there? That's exactly what I've been trying to ask for the past 13 miles, snapped the brakevan. Explain yourself, number 3. Don't you dare blame me. I didn't even know you were back there. All right, be quiet. We're a little too late to figure out why he's with us. I'm just wondering what we should do about it, called the driver. Uncouple me at once. The station master scratched his head. And take Henry off just to shunt you onto the sidings? That'll only delay the Kipper. Oh, you'll just have to take him with you, driver. Stick the tail lamp on the brakevan and be on your way. You will not. Oh, well, chuckled Henry. At least I won't hear him complaining once they get back up to speed. Old Grump's disappearance from the yard, however, did not go unnoticed. James, I'm aware you just like one of our old brakevans here, but hiding him is not what I expect from you. But I saw him to the siding. I was so specimen, sir. I didn't... Don't worry, sir. He's right here, called Henry. Henry? What's going on here? Asked the Fat Controller. And Henry explained. So after we dropped the Kipper off at Vicarstown, driver suggested us to bring Old Grump home on my return passenger train. So you were sleeping with the fishes after all? Just not in the way I had hoped. I don't know what's worse, said the Fat Controller. What you had in mind or your sense of humour, James? Oh well, said Henry. At least he won't be grumbling after being on a fast train like he's been wanting to. Old Grump was silent. Yes, to be quite honest, I felt, rather uneasy during it, he murmured quietly. Which doesn't surprise me, commented the Fat Controller. High speeds are certainly unsuitable for such an old brakevan like yourself. I'll be sending you to the works to have your warm parts mended and inspected. He paused. That is, as long as you promise to change your attitude around here, he added knowingly. Hey, and if I'm honest, I wouldn't mind being referred to my name from now on, muttered Douglas. Old Grump silently and contentedly agreed. And so the baked beans the guard left behind exploded inside me due to the heat. Yes, most unpleasant, I must say. So you can see I've had worse. A novice mistake, my good man. Don't fret too much about it. Hey, good morning to you. Oh, well, good morning to you, good morning to you, Donald. Oh, yes, Donald. There you daft